Hello, this is Professor Dan Collins, welcoming you to Michigan Mysteries Volume 2. I hope you'll enjoy these stories of the strange and unusual, which is part of the beauty and charm of the Great Lakes State. The first story is one of personal experience called the Tuttle Marsh Lights. I've always loved Tuttle Marsh. It lies between Tawas and Oscoda, Michigan. There are acres of wilderness, pine forests, and hardwood forests, prolific ponds. A few years back, next to one of the ponds, I even found these amazing little plants called sundew plants, which are carnivorous. In other words, they eat insects. Fascinating plants. I've never seen them anyplace else in the wilderness here in Michigan. It's a truly beautiful place where wildlife abounds, but so also is mystery abundant. Over the years, I, as have many others, observed unusual, enigmatic mystery lights at night in the marsh. The most dramatic of these sightings for me took place in early August of this year, 2009. It was a very stormy night, and this happened to be close to midnight. It was warm, sultry, and humid. There was torrential but sporadic downbursts of rain, heavy thunder, and constant lightning. My son was driving, and we turned down Tuttle Marsh Road from the north entrance, which is closest to Oscoda. The road twists and turns, coming out about 7 miles from East Tawas. That night there were wispy, eerie-looking patches of fog that stretched across the road and marshes like alien tendrils. My son was driving, as I said, and he was extremely tired, so he decided to pull into one of the little circular turnoffs for an hour nap before driving the remaining 8 miles to his home in Tawas City. These turnoffs are somewhat secluded. Across the road is from the one that we went to anyways, is a dike, a large marsh behind that, and forest behind that. The turnoff that we took was surrounded by thick tree growth on 3 sides, as well as by shallow ponds on the other side. My son fell soundly asleep almost instantly. While I love Tuttle Marsh, I'm a bit uneasy there at night, perhaps because of its isolation. The rain let up a bit, but the lightning still streaked across the heavens. I got out and stood by the car to have a cigarette. Now, for some reason, I felt uneasy. My uneasiness was intensified, and I felt as though I was being watched. Perhaps it was the storm and the eeriness of the fog, but I felt I was being watched. So I finished the cigarette quickly and got back in the car. My son was sleeping very soundly. It was then that I looked out across the road where the tree line is a good half-mile behind the marsh. It was raining again, and still lightning incessantly. Now, it's important to know that there are no roads or trails back there behind the marsh, but even if there were, it wouldn't explain what I saw. There at the tree line were 3 glowing, self-luminous balls of light. From where I was, they looked about the size of basketballs. 2 were quite close to each other and at the same level. I would say maybe 20 feet between the 2 of them. Now the 3rd light, was far to the right, maybe 150 feet or more from the others. The one at the right, in fast, smooth motion, kept moving into the other lights and then back out to its original position. It seemed almost as if that 3rd light was toying playfully with the other 2. For some reason I panicked and tried desperately to wake my son up. I love the paranormal and I love the study of UFOs, but something panicked me. But he was sleeping too soundly to be woken up. I looked out across the dark marsh, and it appeared as though the lights were coming slowly across the swampy waters in our direction. There was no easy way to wake him. I got out of the car, dashed around to his side, threw the door open, and was ready to begin beating on him when he finally woke up enough to start the car, and we slowly took the car out of the turnoff and back onto Tuttle Marsh Road. I kept looking, but there was no sign of the lights. They were just gone. Is there a logical explanation for these lights? Well, there could be. Some people might put it down to ball lightning, though the behavior of that 3rd light would seem inconsistent with that. I would say there's not one that I can ascertain, but then again, I'm not the most brilliant person. But there are a few possible explanations which are as unusual as the lights themselves. One explanation might be that they are spirit lights, residual energy left behind from ancients who frequented Tuttle Marsh in the past. You see, during the summer of 2009, I took many bike trips from Tawas City to Oscoda, and I always went through the marsh. Old US 23, it's a beautiful ride by bike. At one point not far from where I spotted the lights is a sandy blowout area. One morning as I was riding through, I stopped there to rest and to just reflect on the beauty of the area and of course to have a cigarette. I noticed the sand had a lot of flint chips or flakes from ancient tool production by the Indians. There were a few well-defined artifacts such as arrowheads and a lot of cracked rock from ancient cooking hearths or fires. Because this is protected property, I couldn't dig to see how extensive a site this might be, and it could be that it had just been a small hunting camp. The Algonquin people that inhabited this area were very spiritually inclined. Could the lights I saw have been the playful spirit of these children of the ancient Michigan woodlands? It's possible, but perhaps there are other explanations. If you have listened to the first CD book of Michigan Mysteries, there's an account in there of the Makwamosa, or bear walker, which is a form of spirit light that the Indians believed in. You might, when you get a chance, pick up that CD and take a listen to that. But this could also be caused by an elusive atmospheric light form that's been with us from the beginning, which might help even to explain the UFO phenomenon. Writer and researcher Vincent A. Gaddis, in his 1968 book Mysterious Fires and Lights from Dell, described many such cases featuring playful lights which he termed atmospheric fish, as he believed them to be an elusive and unusual life form that fed on pure energy and had never really been able to be confined enough to be scientifically studied. So what were the mysterious lights I saw? What are the mysterious lights many others have seen? Perhaps we will never know, but that just adds to the mysterious beauty which is Tuttle Marsh and which is Michigan.